Have you ever watched other YouTube videos and been a little bit envious of the beautiful backgrounds or cool sets that other people have and wished you could have a great looking set of your own? The kind of background or set that you have in your videos can actually make quite a big difference to the feelings or the branding that you want to convey. So in this video, which is the 9th video in a series called Creating a Course with Me, if you want to see the others in this series, you can check out this playlist here. And in this video, we are going to be looking at the 5 key areas that you need to think about when it comes to choosing a background so that you can feel confident in the image that it portrays of you, your branding, and your content. So when it comes to choosing a background or a set, the first thing you want to think about is to make sure that it is not distracting. So if you have a lot of clutter or mess in the background, then make sure to clear it up and make sure it looks nice, and also avoid any movement, because movement can distract your audience's attention from you, and you don't want that as you're teaching your lessons. Also, try and find a location which is in keeping with your topic. So for an example, if you are teaching cooking, then being in the kitchen would be a logical place to film. If you are teaching art, then if you have an art studio, that would make sense. You may not have a topic that is as obvious as that, in which case just find something that would be congruent with the topic that you are teaching. The second thing you might want to think about is whether to just have a completely plain background. Now the benefits of this is that it's really simple. All you have to do is find a plain wall or hang a plain curtain behind you to cover up what's behind the curtain, and this can just relieve a lot of stress because it just simplifies things and it's completely non-distracting to your student because there's nothing to look at. It's just a plain wall or it's just a plain curtain, and their attention is completely focused on you. So this can be a really good way to go if you want to keep things simple. However, a plain background can be a little bit boring and not show very much personality. So you may want to consider whether you can incorporate any branding or any of your topic into your background. So to use myself as an example, I'll explain my background for you. My primary colors are a dark coral, Indian red, and white. So that is the main background of my wall and the shelves that I've used. I'm also teaching video production, so I have got camera lenses and cameras on this shelf, and I have the clapperboard up here. I also have a course which is called Teach with Video, so I've got my branded mug here. So all of that is communicating my branding and what it is that I'm teaching, along with a couple of personal items as well, so that you can get a little feel for who I am as a person. And that distinguishes me from everybody else that is out there teaching the same kind of material. So when it comes to you and your topic, how can you distinguish yourself from everyone else out there who is teaching the same thing? So this may be something that you may want to consider as to what you incorporate in your background. It certainly doesn't need to be as intense as what I've got here. You can just have a couple of things. But it's certainly worth considering whether you can incorporate your brand colors in the background and maybe a couple of items that are related to your topic. The fourth thing that is critical to choosing a background location for your recording is that you have good lighting. So if you are going to be relying on natural light, then you need to basically choose anywhere that's going to be in front of a window so that you can have that natural light facing you. And that means whatever's in your background is in your background, and that can be quite limiting. So if that works for you, that's great. Just bear in mind that you're also restricted by the time of day that you can record, because you can't record at night if there's no natural light coming through the window. So I would recommend using studio lights regardless, and that gives you much more flexibility in terms of where you can record and also what time of day you record as well. So do make sure that you have good lighting when you choose your background. And number 5 is good sound, your acoustics. So you do want to consider the acoustics of the room where you're going to be recording. If it's very echoey, you're going to want to try and dampen that echo. And I do have another video which you can check out here, which talks a little bit about how you can do that. Smaller rooms can actually be more helpful in that regard rather than huge, large open spaces. And if you've got lots of hard surfaces like tiles or wooden floors and that kind of thing, that can make the sound not quite as good. And the other thing is to make sure that you have an external microphone that you're either going to have on top of the camera or you're going to have clipped to your shirt or whatever, and that will help majorly in getting good sound. But obviously the location that you're going to be in is going to play a part in that. Another thing to consider as well is not just the actual room itself, but what's in the environment. So if you're on a busy street and certain times of day it's just, I don't know, rush hour traffic and it's just super noisy, or if there's planes going overhead, or children are coming out of school at certain times of the day, then I would avoid those times when it's likely to be more noisy, and then record at the quieter times of day, even if that means recording later at night in order to do that, because any of those kind of distracting noises is going to distract your student away from the content that you're delivering. So those are all things that you need to think about when it comes to choosing your location. Okay, so I'm curious to know what your ideal set would look like, and maybe you can let me know in the description below. And if you like this video, please hit that like button, subscribe, and hit the bell for notifications on more videos related to creating online courses using video. Stay creative, and we will talk soon.